When I started working on putting together a gaming setup in my home office, one decision that seemed to take weeks and weeks of research was deciding on what monitor to actually use. For context, this was about 2 years ago, and well, since then the monitor industry has grown and a lot of things are looking super exciting, especially with the recent announcements at the CES this year. Now, one thing that I knew for sure at the time was that I wanted a 4K 32-inch panel, and I'll dive into why shortly. Now, this is a gaming monitor that is great for a lot more things than just gaming. At a native refresh rate of 140 Hz, with the capacity to go up to 160 if overclocked, this 4K monitor has a nano IPS panel capable of outputting 450 nits of brightness, 1 millisecond response time, HDR, and a color gamut DCI-P3 at 98%. This monitor also supports G-Sync and FreeSync and has an anti-reflective coating which reduces reflections, which is super helpful in situations where you have your setup facing a bright window. Setting this up is a breeze. It's pretty much standard for gaming monitors like these to come with monitor feet that are relatively compact and a monitor arm that can be assembled in seconds. It also allows for quite a range of motion like tilting, height adjustment, and pivot. Although it has no swivel action, I personally have no issues with that, as I pretty much prefer to use this with a monitor arm instead. Simply because, well, it's more convenient and it saves a lot of desk space. However, if you're using this at your gaming setup with its original monitor stand, it's important that your desk is sturdy because, well, altogether the monitor and its stand weighs about 11 kilograms. It comes with the standard VESA mounting options, and just as a hack, if you find yourself switching between monitors like me, this quick release attachment is a no-brainer. I'll have this linked in the description below. Behind the monitor, we have two HDMI ports which supports HDMI 2.1 and comes with a HDMI 2.1 cable in the package. One DisplayPort 1.4, a USB upstream port, two USB-A ports which are all USB 3.0, and a power input. I have to say, I like the subtle hexagon texture on the back, and while the RGB lights, which are customizable in the monitor menu, are a really nice touch for a pop of color at the setup, they're not really bright enough to notice them during the day, which is why I have these RGB strip from LifeX added at the back for some bias lighting. Underneath the monitor is a 3.5mm headphone jack, which I think is a really good placement that's easier to reach, and of course, the LG joystick to access and control menu options. As you might have noticed, well, there isn't any USBC port on this monitor, which makes it very difficult to recommend this as a viable option to anyone looking to pair this with their laptop because, well, that would make a very clunky connection, having to connect your HDMI cable and your charger to a laptop, unlike with a USB-C, which is pretty much you're connecting your laptop to your monitor with one single cable that provides both display and charges your laptop simultaneously. Honestly, because this was designed well for gaming and with gamers in mind, the USB-C port is not necessary in my opinion. But I cannot say the same for audio because, well, it has no inbuilt speakers. And I know, I get it, we're most likely going to be using our headphones while playing games anyways, but it would have been nice not to need a headphone every single time you want to use this monitor. Gaming on a monitor like this is something that I absolutely enjoy. And just to give you some context, it's only been about 3 years since I switched to PC gaming and have built, well, gaming PCs, including this one, to take full advantage of the super high refresh rate monitors like these have, unlike gaming on a PlayStation 5, which is usually capped at 120 Hz, which I have to say is also amazing on a monitor like this thanks to VRR, which seamlessly and dynamically adjusts the refresh rate to match the frame rates from either my PC or the console, eliminating any sort of lag. I find that high refresh rate monitors really give you a competitive advantage with quicker response time compared to TVs. Gaming is what I mostly do at this setup, and pretty much the main reason why I decided to mostly play competitive FPS titles here, with some of my favorites being Call of Duty, CSGO, and Shatterline at the moment. While I know that a smaller 27-inch high refresh rate monitor at probably 1440p is preferable for most gamers, I can say that 32 inches is perfect for anyone who wants to play a variety of other games. However, it's important to note that you will be sacrificing higher refresh rates and some sharpness due to a lesser PPI. But I am super excited about most of the OLED monitors, especially around that 32-inch screen size announced at CES this year. Personally, as someone who really enjoys a variety of games and just generally watching video content here as well, I still cannot get over the quality and the clarity of my LG C10 gaming TV, which, to be fair, is an OLED panel. But this 32-inch 4K monitor really comes close to scratching that itch. There's something about the colors coming from this LG Nano IPS, and I have to say, in my experience of working with color accurate monitors for design and video editing, this panel for a gaming monitor is amazing. Now, it's definitely not OLED quality where the blacks are truly black with insanely good contrast levels and a much lower response time. For what it's worth, this 1 millisecond display panel with decent contrast levels is so satisfying to game with. And I say this having gone through my fair share of gaming monitors in the past. It's important to remember that a gaming monitor can make or break your experience at your gaming setup. It is the main piece of technology that helps you kind of enjoy the gaming experience. I'm looking forward to testing a couple more monitors for either general use, gaming, or both. So stay tuned and I'll catch you in the next video.